interestingly, we have seen the fleet for China decreasing over the last couple of years. So this is even as we've seen a market rise in fleet in, say, in Singapore and in India. Last year, 2024, now borders fully reopened. Still, though, that fleet went down. What do you think is behind this?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, the fleet did decline in China, roughly 8%. We're seeing a bit of a migration. I believe that the airplanes themselves are following some of the investments that are taking place. There's been a bit of migration from aircraft where they're based, right? So the aircraft were based in Beijing. Maybe some of the investments are taking place, still investing inside of China. We're seeing some Western China, but we're seeing that happen in Southeast Asia. We're seeing in countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, and the aircraft are being based there. They're still coming to China. We're still seeing many of the same aircraft flying into China, utilizing our services on FBO, maintenance services in Tianjin, Beijing. So the same aircraft are still flying in, but they're calling their home. Maybe they're Singapore is where they're spending the majority of their time, but they're still coming back. So we're seeing those fleet numbers. I think what's surprising to us is we did see the Hong Kong fleet stabilize. So the Hong Kong fleet, after many years of decline, went from 55 to 56 airplanes. So we actually saw a bit of growth. I think that's a bellwether, at least we're hopeful, it's a bellwether for what's to come in mainland China. We're looking towards stabilization in 25, and we see some green shoots of activity. We see some sales activity. There are still aircraft coming to China. We're looking for that fleet to start growing again in 2026 and onwards.
And I want to talk to you about the crux of your business, maintenance and repairs. This is something that pre-pandemic really happened in the background. Now it has been thrust to the forefront as you have shortages in technicians, in parts. How is business? Has it been just chaotic operating in this environment, or is this actually good for business because you've got more aircraft than you can service?
Yeah, I think as the fleet grows in Asia Pacific, I mean, the fleet is growing. You know, we could grow 2%, 3% onwards in Asia Pacific. So the demand is there. As these aircraft also age in country, in China and throughout the region, the need is there for additional MRO services. MRO is forecasted to grow some 4.1%. You know, that's really, if we look at the global basis, we're looking at like 3%. On a more international basis. So the MRO growth in Asia Pacific, the demand is certainly there. We're looking for added growth, you know, and then the Chinese fleet, it's going to stabilize, but there's plenty of demand already there for MRO services. But now as the fleet expands in Southeast Asia, more aircraft are getting delivered into Southeast Asia. The new aircraft are coming into China. So we are seeing that the demand is going to grow. We have added capacity now in Beijing, and that's why we're in Singapore. We're at BAFX, so we can start pulling not only the customers that we currently have in China, but pull more from a regional basis because we are seeing significant growth here in Southeast Asia.